If we could have everybody in their seats, please. There's plenty of seats up at the front, left and right. Well, welcome everybody to the 2021 Senior Baccalaureate, and we're going to start this evening with a special musical performance. So,
We are delighted to be here. I'm Ms. Manspeaker.
I'm Dr. Cabral.
And we are performing a kind of mashup of two Fleetwood Mac songs. One is Landslide, which is a beautiful old song that speaks to the different stages of life and transitioning between them.
And the other is Everywhere, which speaks to keeping the people that you love in your hearts, no matter where you are.
I took my love and I took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills till a landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Wanna be with you everywhere. Can you hear me calling out your name? You know that I'm falling and I don't know what to say. Speak a little louder, or even shout. You know that I'm proud and I can't get the words out. Well, I've been afraid of changing. Wanna be with you and build my life around you. But time makes you older, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Wanna be with you everywhere. 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 Wanna be with you. I take my love, take it down. Oh, climb a mountain and I turn around. Wanna be with you. If you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide will bring it down. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, the landslide will bring it down.
Thank you both so much. Albums are available for sale, downloads available for sale later tonight. Good evening, class of 2021, and welcome to the faculty. And before proceeding any further, I'd like you to join me in showing appreciation for Michelle Boatman, Mia Peterson, Allison Kaufman, Mark Matias, and the Flick team, Jeff Barrett. And everybody else who's had a hand in making this event happen against all odds. Baccalaureate compliments freshman convocation, which most likely stands very distant in your memory if you were among those who were there. And it takes the form of an invitation to reflect on your experience and your classmates' experience on this moment and on the nature of our school community. It customarily follows senior dinner in Reed Hall, provides a gentle counterweight to that often jocular event. It's not meant to be somber exactly, but it, as befits its usual location in the chapel, Baccalaureate affords an opportunity for the class to be together and to begin to focus its energy on the ceremony of graduation, and so ease comfortably into the decorum that's meant to inform that proceeding tomorrow. You've often heard invitations to pay attention and show respect to those who will come before you to share their offerings. In this community, thankfully, that reminder is often not needed, and I'm sure that'll prove to be the case tonight. So instead, or in addition, I ask that you also pay attention to and show respect for your own feelings as your classmates help to conjure the spirit of our school and its values that we all carry with us over the course of tonight and tomorrow and through the ceremony by which you will enter into your lifelong relationship with the school as members of its body of alumni. And of course, show them your appreciation as they share what they have to share. And in that spirit then, and with deep respect for the people who were first to call this land on which we now live home, I invite you to join with me to invoke a spirit of reverence that is meant to transcend all traditions of faith. As devoted students of this magnificent universe, we've convened here from across the nation and around the world with humility, curiosity, courage, and good humor. We've shared this enduring sweep of coastline, reveled in its beauty, and allowed it to put us in our place. We've basked in the same sun, beheld the same ocean and forest, gazed upon the same moon, and been dazzled by the same stars. With an optimism that shall be forever kindled by the friendships we've made here, and guided by the promise of what we are becoming, we embrace the bonds we share as living beings and as stewards of the future. As you prepare to take your leave of this place, may you carry forth an intelligence that is inspired by justice, guided by tenderness, and informed by love. May your hearts be full of wonder and an imaginative daring that stirs you and inspires those of us who will remain here to become ever more vibrant, living examples of shalom, salam, shanti, of peace.
Good evening. I will be reading The Summer Day by Mary Oliver. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flown herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is your plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
Hello, everyone. I didn't really prepare anything to say, but I figured it would only be right to give a few words. And I think you'll find in a few moments that that's kind of the point of my piece in this. I won't be the first or the last to say that this has been a long 4 years and a long process. And we've finally come to the moment where we can both reflect and rejoice. Improvisation for me is a way of connecting with my emotions, a way of avoiding the planning and the preparing and simply creating based on what I feel inside. So just like real life, that's going to be potentially filled with some mistakes and potentially filled with some wonder that I hope some of you can find meaning in as you listen.
Hi, guys. I almost backed out of the speech, which is why I'm not on the program. But I decided that after talking to Matt Fung that if I never did it, I would regret it for the rest of my life. So I'm going to do it. This is my speech. Okay. So my name is Michelle, and I came to Stevenson for 2 reasons. I wanted to get out of the house, and I really liked the fireplace in Douglas Hall. It took me 3 years, but after trying out different team sports, participating in clubs, singing in choir, being prefect, and joining various school productions, I finally found my place in the community. By the end of my junior year, I considered myself a full-time theater kid. I came to Stevenson carrying many things: my perfectionism, my anxiety, and my Asian values. But Stevenson has taught me that I get to choose what I want to carry and how to carry it. My love for music, embracing failure and rejection, the willingness to take risks and try new things, the courage to reach out to other human beings, and the importance of taking walks. In the spirit of theater, high school has taught me that I can be more than one character. I am not defined by the performances I give, the grades that I get, the leadership titles that I have, or the people I hang out with. While these things make up who I am, what defines me is my character and what I choose to do with the gifts I was given. I've learned to use my arms to hold open the door, my voice to ask about someone's day, my hands to applaud my peers. And when my mask covers my mouth, I use my eyes to smile at people around campus. And what would a baccalaureate speech be without me listing all the people I'm grateful for? I'm grateful for my freshman year prefects for showing me what leadership is about, my teachers who I've gotten to know on a personal level, and Audrey Yip for showing me what it means to be a friend, what it means to show up, and the value of being honest, even when you don't like the truth. I love you, Audrey. To the faculty and their children and their pets, Teresa and Simonos, the rest of the student body, and anyone else I haven't mentioned yet. You are the people who have helped shape me and who I am. At the end of junior year, we had to prematurely say goodbye to a class of seniors that I wish I had more time with. If I have one regret, it's that I wish I had gotten to know more of you. We are all travelers in the wilderness of this world, and the best we can find in our travels is an honest friend. When I first heard this quote by Robert Louis Stevenson, I didn't understand what it meant. Now, 4 years later, I finally understand what it means. The world is big, sometimes scary, and full of giants. At Into the Woods. The smartest thing that we can do is lean on each other. While I don't know who I am yet or what I want to do, I know that I'll be okay. These past 4 years have shown me that you can have fun along the way, even if you have no clue what you're doing. Because the truth is, no one really does. Thank you.
I love you. Hi, I'm going to be reading a passage from James Baldwin's Nothing Personal. Nothing is fixed. Forever and forever and forever, it is not fixed. The earth is always shifting. The light is always changing. The sea does not cease to grind down rock. Generations do not cease to be born, and we are responsible to them because we are the only witnesses they have. The sea rises, the light fails, lovers cling to each other, and children cling to us. The moment we cease to hold each other, the moment we break faith with one another, the sea engulfs us and the light goes out. Thank you.
When I first arrived at Stevenson, the idea of 4 years seemed like an eternity, but we have reached the end quicker than I could have imagined. That first day of school, only 4 short years ago, I was terrified. I remember not wanting to leave the car and squirming at the idea of my parents, oh so embarrassingly, taking a photo of me in front of Douglas. No one would expect that kid would speak in front of you all today. But here I am, and I am honored to be doing so. Let me focus on Brandon circa 2017. I wore the same green Stevenson hoodie practically every day. My hair was parted on the left side, and I was conscious of every word I said and every move I made, hoping I would always be right. Hearing this and knowing me now, you might be asking, who is this kid? In all honesty, I don't know either. The old Brandon can't come to the phone right now. Why? Oh, 'cause he's dead. All jokes aside, these past few years, I believe I have changed more than at any other point in my life. High school has offered not only me, but all of us, a multitude of opportunities to grow. Stevenson has given us the environment to explore our interests while simultaneously creating a community where we have learned to overcome occasional setbacks in academics, relationships, and friendships. But ultimately, the school has allowed us to mature into who we are today. Whether our growth has been informed by our experiences of leaving it all on the field, in the pool, in the classroom, or on the stage, we all have found new activities to challenge us and enrich our high school lives. And we have found peers who have helped mold us into our most authentic selves. Now, as we stand on the precipice of a new chapter in our lives, we can reflect on the impact of our time together. In Dr. Hiles' Reading Disney elective, we recently discussed Mulan, one of my favorite childhood films. It had been a while since I last revisited this film, but one line struck me harder than ever. When will my reflection show who I am inside? At that moment, an image of my freshman self materialized, self-conscious, afraid, and hiding much of himself. When I look back on my younger self, I see how much I have changed and how much those around me have done the same. I see myself shedding layers of insecurity and revealing someone who is more true to who I am rather than who I think I should be. I have seen friends come and go, and the part in my hair has moved gradually from the left to the center, but I think Mulan's words resonated with me for the first time. I feel more myself now than ever before. Yet, we are far from perfect. We all have changed so much, both expectedly and unexpectedly. None of us could have anticipated losing a whole year together, let alone having to navigate this year's unique challenges, especially learning from home, which many of us are still managing to this day. But I look on this class now, and I think back to those I met on my first days here. And the conclusion I have come to is that our class is virtually unrecognizable. As a class, we have grown more true to ourselves by way of experiences, both happy and sad, which have brought us closer together. Along the way, we have learned the preciousness of this community. Our time together as the class of 2021 is fleeting and coming to a close, but I cannot imagine spending the last 4 years of my life with a more creative, motivated, and resilient group of individuals. And although we are all still unable to be together, we are reminded of what brings us together, this community, which we have learned can transcend time and space. Throughout this past year, we have all learned a valuable lesson, that change may be the only constant we see in this world. Neither good nor bad, change just is, and we have the experience to prove it. Though navigating this past year may have been scary, and diving headfirst into the future is equally foreboding, I am glad to have had this class, the class of 2021, by my side. Yes, we will carry memories and mementos from this place, but it will be the power of this community we will miss the most. Even though we have all been physically apart and will soon be again, the value of our time together is priceless. Thank you.
When I arrived at Stevenson as a freshman, I clung to my old friends from elementary school. Coming from a class with only 30 or so students, we all lived in Monterey. I was intimidated by the sheer number of places that my new classmates came from Egypt to Japan to Vietnam. I didn't think I'd be able to relate with my new classmates who came from such different backgrounds and cultures. However, I soon learned to embrace this diversity. Our freshman year was off to a hot start, and after orientation and a few weeks of class, we went off to freshman retreat. And the memory that sticks with me the most strongly from the retreat was during the talent show, when Tony Chen, who I thought was, or who is the super genius who took BC Calculus as a freshman, walked up to the stage, took a deep breath, and barked like a dog into the microphone. I was shocked, and how could Tony, who I'd already deemed the smartest person on the planet, after looking at the mumbo jumbo on his math homework, be bold enough to bark like a dog in front of 100 people? And this evening taught me a lesson that would define my Stevenson experience. What I realize now about Stevenson is that not everyone shares identical experiences. Not all of us have ever had to run boards, which is a punishment for being late to Mr. Forkham's basketball practices. Not all of us have had to hide a hydrochloric acid spill from Dr. Wenzel, who told us specifically not to spill the acid. Not all of us have learned curse words in different languages to yell from the dugout during baseball games. Thanks, Juan. And hopefully, very few of you have had to listen to Kyla and Robert argue for hours over some seating assignment from the class during sophomore year. My point is that just as I've had my own fond experiences and memories from my years at Stevenson, you all have your memories and stories too. I think it's so cool that we all went to the same school, took similar classes, played similar sports, and we all still have our own unique experiences during high school. Stevenson is a place that allows us to choose our own path. For example, Nelson has never had to shy away from who he is. He speaks nearly fluent Japanese. He humiliates any challengers in chess, all the while wearing a Guy Fieri Flavortown sweatshirt and tracking down fly balls in the outfield better than anyone else. Our class is special to me because even though we went through high school together, we allowed ourselves to choose our own stories, to augment our own talents and hobbies, and to choose who we want to be. I'm grateful for that, and I wouldn't be who I am today without all of you. Tony's barking at the freshman retreat talent show showed me that I could be myself without having to apologize, and that anyone else can be too. Though I started as a nervous freshman, scared to push the bounds of my comfort, I stand here now having made friends from across the world despite our different backgrounds. Though you will share lots in common with your new friends in college, I urge you not to conform to the norm. Embrace your differences, your quirks, your personal talents, and the diversity that those around you bring. Steve Jobs said, "Do not try to do everything, do one thing well." However, I think that in being everything that you want to be and doing everything that you want to do, the world will be that much better because of it.
LOL. Okay. Hi, guys. Today I'm going to be reading an untitled poem by Gregory Orr. This is what was bequeathed us. This earth, the beloved left and leaving, left to us. No other world
but this one. Willows in the river, in the factory with its black smokestacks. No other shore, only this bank on which the living gather. No meaning but what we find here. No purpose but what we make. That and the beloved's clear instructions. Turn me into song, sing me awake. Thank you.
My first night at Stevenson, there was a dance party between the fire pit and the dining hall. Congratulations by Post Malone and Quavo played, and I started crying. It was my brother's favorite song at the time. Although I was the boarding student whose home was closest to campus, I found that I was incredibly homesick, and it was only the first day. If anything, being 50 miles from home should have meant that Stevenson was the most familiar to me, but I found the private boarding school in Pebble Beach to be the most different thing I had ever experienced. I missed the boisterous large family gatherings, the cultural events, and the home-cooked food. Although all this could be found nearby, I was afraid I wouldn't be able to find it at school. It took a lot of time and work for the joys of learning new cultures and making new friends to have a larger impact on me than the feeling of losing my native tongue or not being able to participate in Mexican folkloric dance shows. Over time, I was able to make connections with those around me. I discovered that telling my roommate that in my culture, having wet hair also meant you would get sick was just as good as being told to dry my hair or put on layers porque te vas a enfermar. Me das frío con solo mirarte. My time at Stevenson has forced me to grow. Finding my place in the community has been a journey through sports teams, clubs, and affinity groups. The latter has been especially integral for me. To me, affinity groups have meant not only a space where you can be sure of a shared experience, but also a way to share my culture with others and encourage others to share their own. All of the ups and downs of my Stevenson experience have had a common positive thread: our class. What made my homesickness and the fears of finding my place dissipate were my friends. They accepted me for who I was. They also shared who they were with me. As my friends accepted me, I found myself becoming more and more open. The opposite of homesickness is being immersed in something new and enjoying it. My roommate and I took care of each other when we were sick, exchanging ginger tea and vapor rub. She helped me with math and I helped her with Spanish. I saw friends looking out for each other, selflessly taking care of each other, and reciprocating the affection. This frequent exchange of support was something I have seen throughout our entire class, from collaborating on assignments, to giving meals to day students who forgot to bring lunch from home, to reaching out to students who lived near the fires, who were directly impacted by racist violence or the protests against it, whose families worked essential jobs during the pandemic. Whatever the situation, we were there for each other. Finding your people is something we will all have to do over again in just a few months when we begin college. At least at this point, we know how the process works. We'll have people we can always call up and talk to whenever. No phones out for study hall. An author we read for French, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, said, "Man is a knot, a web, a mesh into which relationships are tied." The idea that the things that surround us, the people that surround us, become a part of who we are is representative. Muhammad Ali said, "Friendship is the hardest thing in the world to explain. It's not something you learn in school. But if you haven't learned the meaning of friendship, you really haven't learned anything." While I agree with the complexity and importance of friendship, I did learn the meaning of friendship in school. In the future, we will have moments that are uncomfortable, awkward, and scary. We will probably feel homesick all over again. In these moments, instead of giving into the despair, we should try to remember what worked in the past, our friends. Friends who we might not have realized would become our friends until all of a sudden they were. Think for a moment about how much we have grown as individuals, as a class. If I had listened closely to Post Malone that first night, it might not have taken me 4 years to appreciate what we've had all along here at Stevenson. He seemed to know where we were heading when he said, "Look, we made it." It is the we that is the most important part of that sentence. We made it together. Congratulations.
I'll be seeing you in every old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through, all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees are wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon. But I'll be seeing you. I'll be seeing you.
Lost by David Wagner. Stand still. The trees ahead and bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger, must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen. It answers, I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again, saying, here. No two trees are the same to raven. No two branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. Thanks to everyone who participated tonight. Thanks especially for Michelle. Actually, thanks to Matt. Another Matt, it just gets fungier and fungier as we go on. The fungification is complete. When we're done, please feel free to spend a little bit of time together. These bags are for you. They're arranged alphabetically from my right to my left, and they have some things that you might want to have for commencement, but it's our token of appreciation for you in the spirit of the moment. I would, because as you know, tomorrow at commencement, owing to the restrictions in place, your faculty members who are here tonight are going to be watching virtually. They will have a chance to greet you along the way, but I imagine the class would welcome the opportunity right now to offer them a round of applause for all that they've done. And now, as Dr. Griffiths makes his way here, I'd ask you to rise as you are able to recite the school prayer together, led by Dr. Griffiths, regardless of our beliefs or lack of beliefs or our dynamic uncertainty about it all. The school prayer invokes the spirit that connects all of us to this place and to one another across all the generations that comprise Pirate Nation tonight and tomorrow and for all the rest of our days.
O Lord, give us the strength to encounter that which is to come, that we may be brave in peril, constant in tribulation, temperate in wrath, and in all changes of fortune, and down to the gates of death, loyal and loving to one another. Amen.
And now, as Robert Louis Stevenson always used to say in such moments, party on. Thank you so much, everybody. Please be sure to get your bags before you depart.